Hello, my lovelies. It is 2026 and we're fresh into January. I am glad you're back here. It's me, Khandie. I've missed you. I've missed you, although I've not been aware. I've been releasing an episode every single week. Are you not proud of me? I hope so. But we're going to talk about something now that I know a lot of you are doing in January, which is looking at your marketing. I mean, if you'd watched, or should I say, listened from the episode, you should know you should be looking at this way before. But if we're there, it's fine. We're going to talk about Instagram in particular, okay? I am going to go on about others, but there is some stuff you can guys just for your regular marketing. But I also think we need to explain a lot. So we're going to slow it down and we're going to start very properly because one of the biggest problems photographers have with Instagram isn't actually the app. Is that no one actually explains what half the terminology means and what things stick. So people throw out phrases like viral reach, high engagement, build trust, show authority, blah, blah, blah. And photographers are left nodding along and pretending they understand while secretly thinking, okay, but what does that actually look like for me? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to start talking. We're still going to talk about ladders, pods, follow for follow, and all the usual nonsense. We're also breaking down what Instagram metrics really mean, what interaction actually works, how to build trust online, and how photographers show authority without being completely unbearable. This isn't an influencer episode. This is for you working photographers. This is a working photographer episode, okay? Okay, so let's put it into context. Why does Instagram confuse photographers? I think that's because Instagram language wasn't built for service based businesses, in my opinion. It was definitely built for creators, brands, and advertisers. The whole look at me, aren't I amazing, aspirational, oh my God, I'm superb. Then photographers came along and tried to force themselves into a system that never really explained themselves properly. Now we know that it is a image and video based platform. We know that it's plenty, but we need to have a mindset shift even. Instagram is not judging your talent, it doesn't care. It's observing your behavior when on that platform. Every time it shows or hides, it's based on how people interact, what they do next, and whether they come back for more. Which means if we don't understand the behaviors, the numbers are meaningless. So it doesn't care about your numbers. It tracks the behavior of people interacting with you and your content. Okay. So please understand behaviors are far more important than any follow number and we're talking about that, okay? But let's translate some Instagram buzzwords for you. So you hear, oh, I'm gonna go viral reach. Really? Viral reach simply means Instagram has shown your content to people who don't already follow you. That's it. It does not mean your business will grow. It certainly doesn't. It doesn't mean inquiries will flood in, and it won't mean clients will book you. Viral reach usually happens when the content is either wildly relatable, easy to consume, and emotionally reactive. Those are kind of the three pillars, the three things that it's got to be one, two, possibly all three to make it good. For photographers, viral reach often comes from memes. We've seen them. Shouldn't happen to a photographer. Hot takes, trends, dramatic before and afters, which is fine if you understand the trade-off, okay? Viral reach attracts attention, but attention is not the same as intent. If 50,000 people see your reel, but none of them save it, click your profile, or even message you, then all you've done is entertain some strangers. Okay, so you've got to understand then how there's no point chasing virality because one, at the minute, Instagram, you can't really make money on Instagram, right? Here in the UK, you can other places, you can obviously with brand deals and stuff. What I'm saying is, viral reach is just shouting people who kind of look at your thing and like, oh wow, I've had 50,000 views, which is why I'm like, okay, it's cute to have 50,000 views, but did 50,000 people then go to your profile and book you, or did you get any booking from it, or did you get? Do you know what I mean? Did they convert? That's what I want to know. Did you get from those views something that was monetary gain? Okay, like you could say, oh, I got loads of advertising. Did you though? Because they're not coming back, they're not following you, so they looked at you once and then carried on. Like that's what I mean. When we chase virality, it's such a problem for us, okay? And I don't like when I see coaches or Instagram people go, "Oh my God, I help you go viral." I don't want to go viral because that means I have to deal with a load of douchebags who want to my stuff passing comments. I want my clients to meet me and I want to create content that connects, okay? But one of the things we always talk about, you see it all the time, is interaction. And that's where most people get it wrong. Interaction is not just likes and comments. Instagram tracks how long someone watches your content, whether they rewatch it, whether they share it, whether they save it, whether they click your profile, whether they DM you. A like has to be one of the lowest effort interactions, okay? Like When someone goes to me, "Oh god, look how many likes I got on my page." Yeah, but some people can like by accidentally tapping. I've done it loads of times, right? It is the lowest of the lows. Yes, it's nice. It's got a little bit of, for me, it's a neither here nor there. Um, I don't care how many likes you've got. I know this sounds really weird when someone goes on about, I'm like, okay, cool, but how many do people save it? That's more valuable because when people save, it says this is useful. I might want to use this later. A share says this is valuable enough for me to attach my name to it, and I want people to see that I've found this valuable. Okay. A profile click says, "Oh, I'm curious as to who you are and what you can do for me." And a DM says, "I trust you enough to speak to you." If your posts get likes and nothing else, what Instagram learns is that your content is disposable. It's not useful. It's not even entertaining enough to be saved. It's just, that's it. It's disposable. I don't think I want that. I don't think you should want that either. So, what does building trust actually mean? Because that's another thing that's chucked around. You need to build trust on your social media. Trust on Instagram. Remember, we're talking about Instagram. Facebook is going to come across in a few. I think I might do that as the next episode. So if you want to, make sure you subscribe now. Click wherever you're clicking to make sure you follow us because I release these every week and I'd love for you to follow along. I'd love those numbers. Okay. Anyway, so trust on Instagram isn't about oversharing or being inspirational. Trust is built when people recognize you, understand what you do, and believe you know what you're talking about and feel safe engaging with you. For photographers, then, trust is built through explaining your processes, answering common fears, showing consistency, and being predictable in a good way. For example, if you repeatedly talk about how you pose nervous clients, people who hate being photographed will start to feel seen. Trust isn't created in one post, though. It's about, if you like, pattern recognition. They can go to you and know that's what you do. Yeah? They can see that with you. They build that trust because they know you know what you're talking about. Okay. So, what does showing authority look like? Because that's another thing people talk about. People think, oh, you need to be authoritative to get these bookings in. But authority doesn't mean shouting or flexing. Oh, God, stop flexing awards. Please stop flexing your awards and talking down to people. Authority means explaining why things work, calling out bad advice calmly, sharing informed opinions, backing it up with experience. It's something that I actually enjoy doing. I like showing authority. I know that sounds really weird, but like I like talking about this stuff. That's why I started this podcast. Yeah. That's why I share what I share on my Instagram. My Instagram is more of the reels are aimed at photographers and the grid is aimed at clients. Like it's a bit of a complex one, but it's the way I've kind of gone about it. Okay. So I kind of do a lot of my authority talking in my reels and sometimes in my stories, but my main grid is aimed for basically clients to book me because they like the pretty pictures. So when you can explain something clearly without panic or defensiveness, you position yourself as someone worth listening to, especially if you do it a lot. Okay. Authority feels steady, but definitely not desperate and definitely not clickbaity. Okay. Yes, you can, there's an element of clickbait if it's a topical issue, like I did the whole episode on the White House Trump administration photos. That got me a lot of people talking. It was one of my popular episodes. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to that. It's a couple episodes back. And it was just talking about it and how damaging the reaction is. I know they're controversial figures. The damaging reaction is to photography, to see that we actually have to alter the truth essentially. So have a listen, see what you think. Authority, it shouldn't just be shouty though. You have to be balanced opinion. And I think that's something I have definitely learned over the year of doing this podcast, that I have to take into other people's considerations and do quite a lot of research. And I do, you won't believe it. Some of this notes on this one alone. I'm looking here. Let me grab my notebook. How many pages of notes have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of notes here just on this one alone. Okay. Now that we understand the terms, let's talk about the pitfalls, because this is something that comes up all the time, especially if you're in some of those Facebook groups. The F for F, sometimes it's done as the letter F and then for and the letter F, okay? It's called follow for follow. That's what it means. It's an acronym. It trains Instagram to show your work to people who will never buy. It also basically, follow for follow is, or F for F is where someone will say, I'll follow you if you follow me back, right? So you do. The problem is, you're following it to people who aren't interested in your work. They just want their number followership to boost, right? But so then when you go forward, I'm sorry, what does that help you do? If you're going to advertise, how does that help you advertise? Because none of those people who followed you were going to follow you unless you followed them back. So they're not interested in what you do. what it does, it trains you to chase numbers instead of relevance. You don't need more followers. You need the right ones who like what you do or are interested in what you do. So these FF follow for follow things are terrible, utterly terrible for your social media. It's the same with engagement ladders and pods. These create fake interaction patterns. And Instagram can see timing, repetition, and lack of depth. So while they might boost in the short term, they kill long-term trust signals. So if you don't know what an engagement ladder is or a pod, what happens is normally people jump into like a group on Facebook or somewhere and they go, I've just posted this, can you go give a like? And then all these people jump on there, give it likes and do little emojis. They don't really do anything useful. Then they go off and then all those people go on to somebody else's. And those are really dangerous because basically what you're doing is you're getting loads of interaction that isn't good interaction, and all the people are getting likes, but nothing else is happening. Those people aren't going back out of their own choice to look at your stuff. They're not going back to interact with you. They're just jumping on whenever you say you've posted, and those same names come up, and Instagram goes, hang on a minute, they keep coming up. Okay, well, then these people are disingenuous, it's very spammy, and it causes a massive problem. Okay. You might get a short-term boost on a post, but in the long term, it damages you so bad. And I hate seeing this sort of recommended. I think it's a lot. I found it a lot in the modeling industry. A lot of models will be in like these pods, and photographers will join in. And I'll be honest, I've never seen any good fruition out of them. I think back in the old days when people were interested in how many followers you had, rather than when they started delving into analytics, which is something we might come on to in a bit. Uh, we are going to. Um, People would look at that, and particularly those who aren't very educated, go, oh my god, I've got loads of followers. Great, I'll hire that person. Not really looking at the engagement rate, because you know what, there's a lot of spam followers out there, and if you want to attract a lot of followers, honestly, put a picture of your bikini, done. You get loads of weird things like that. Okay. So also noise over meaning. Posting constantly is something that people always fall into. Like, here I am with a coffee, here I am with this, here I am with that. Posting consistently without intent creates activity, but it certainly doesn't create growth. So if your content, what you post, doesn't answer a question, reduce a fear, or show some level of understanding, it's just noise. So if I was going to post a picture of my coffee now, I'd be like, coffee break, because everyone knows having a break from the screen is so good for your eyes and it makes you relook at your images with some clarity. Okay. Something like that. It's probably not the best example, but you see, then I'm showing somebody like you don't edit all day, right? You have to have a break. And it's kind of other photographers go, yeah, I know how you feel, Khandie. I totally need to have a break every now and then. At least that has some level of understanding. Okay. That's what I mean. But then we're going, okay, Khandie, so you said what doesn't work. What actually works, my love? Okay, content with a job, because we're going to start this. So if you haven't already got your notebooks out, this is a good time to do it. Content with a job. I should also clarify, I actually have qualifications in social media analytics. So this is something that I really enjoy. It's something I talk about when I'm mentoring people. So if you're interested in mentoring by me, by it remotely, Zoom, WhatsApp video, all that kind of stuff, message me. I was doing it in person. I love all this. Okay. I love it. I used to run the No BS social media channel. I've decided to get rid of that and just push it all onto my photography so you can see a lot more, because I was finding that I was watering it down for that. So I wanted to put it into my photography and put it essentially on this podcast and on my YouTube. So if you haven't even found my YouTube now, there is so much on my YouTube to help you. Khandie Photography, go find it. Okay. Content with a job. Every post should answer, why does this exist? Not for the algorithm. Forget about the algorithm. For the person reading it, watching it, consuming it. Why does this exist? Is it because people are scared of having their photo taken? People are worried about their double chin. I hate that term, double chin. People people are worried, like, do I need to get my head of this? Or on location headshot sessions, or how does HSS work? How does high speed sync? Sorry, I should have said what that was. High speed sync work. How, or you're answering questions. How does a 35mm affect someone's portrait as opposed to an 85mm lens does? Tell me that. You're answering a question. This is why it exists, for this purpose. Okay. The other thing is, you want strategic interaction. Now, you might go, okay, what's that mean, Khandie? You're training Instagram and the people who follow you. So when you interact thoughtfully, that was a hard word to say, thoughtfully. I don't know why. People recognize your name. Conversations feel more genuine. They feel warmer, and DMing people just feels natural. You can chat to them. Random likes don't do that. So when you interact, you want to interact with people. Like, I will post online and I will also spend 5-10 minutes interacting, chatting to people, doing what I want to do, putting comments on people's work. Like, especially if I like it, I'll comment on it, and I like to build an interaction. Okay. Remember, social media requires you to also engage. Doesn't mean you just post and run away. You have to You might be creating content, but you need to be engaging. That's the whole point. It also, every time you engage, it shows you to those people who might have interacted with your engagements. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So it's a little ring of that keeps going round as long as you keep pushing the pedals. Using stats without letting them rot your brain. Stats are clues, not grades. If the saves go up, you're being useful. If say shares go down, oh sorry, if shares go up, sorry, I don't know why I'm saying that. If shares go up, you're valuable. If profile clicks go up, your messaging is landing. That's it. You forget followers, okay? Forget likes. I know it sounds really weird. Check the other side of the analytics. You can go into that. You can see it in Meta Business. You can see it in the business suite on your Instagram, everything like that, okay? Look for what your shares are like. Look for what your saves are like. Look at profile clicks. If that's going, you know you're doing it right. Okay. You want to do this. Okay. So for me, when I'm going to post something now, it's not just a case I'm posting because I have to post. Is there any way I can tediously link my cup of coffee to photography, taking time out, or I don't know. Even if it was so much as, are you a tea or a coffee drinker photographers? What's your substance to keep you going in the editing slog? You see how you could do a poll, things like that, okay? That's what I want to talk about. Instagram requires clarity, not hacks, not ladders, not pretending to understand words that no one's ever explained to you. And once you understand that what these things actually mean, the platform becomes a lot simpler. I'm not saying it becomes easier. It does become simpler, and it's always changing, okay? But this is where photographers start winning. If they stop trying to chase likes and followers and start saying, hey, I want to give something back that will get me the notoriety, that will get me the accolades, that will get me this, that, and the other. And I think this is where brands start realizing that they don't want someone who's got loads of followers. They want someone with good engagement. I use this example a lot. There was a very high profile pop singer. Is she a pop singer? Yeah. She has something like 1 million, 2 million followers on Instagram. And so she was basically said, hey, we've got a brand deal. Could you sell these headphones for us? She was like, oh my God, I totally will. And, she's got millions of followers on her Instagram. And as it turned out, it was released that she only sold 5 headphones because everything she posts has no intention, there's no conversion. People don't trust her as a recommendation. If she recommends that, they're like, well, you've never recommended it before. We don't see you using this stuff. We don't get it. If I was to post a product, right? Say a brand said to me, hey, Khandie, we really like you to push a product. I'd be like, one, is it a product I would naturally use? If the answer is yes, then I would consider it. Obviously, how much? um, Thing is, I wouldn't just post it, go, right, this is what I recommend. I would actually show you me using it, right? I would talk about it without selling it to you. And then in the couple of days before, I'd be like, hey, if you're interested in buying this, you've seen me using it, here you go. This is the link for it. Because I want you to know that I'm actually using it. There's nothing that irks me more than seeing people get a brand new camera or the latest gadgets come out, use it for they get given it comes out on the Monday, they release the video on the Tuesday or the Monday, whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh my God, I've been using it for a whole week." And I'm like, "Wow, you've used it for a whole week. How busy have you been that week? What have you used it for? Can we see evidence of you using it?" And suddenly they're saying it's the best thing ever. Like, no. No, how many times have we had new products released and there's glitches and they go, "Oh my God, I've used it for like 6 months, so here I am with my issues on it." But you didn't address those issues within the week you had it. So for me, if I was gonna, I wanna at least bed it in. Like that's how I would do it. And that's why I think whenever brands reach out to me, they're always like, "Oh, can you do this video now?" I'm like, "No, let me bed it in first. Let me use it first, and I'll tell you how I'm gonna go about it." And I've always been, I need to be honest. I need to be honest. If it's crap, I'm gonna tell people. If there's things I don't like, I'm going to tell people there's things I like. Because I think a review that basically, or a brand a collaboration that goes, "Oh my God, it's amazing," it just feels a bit disingenuous, right? I think even the most beautiful cars in the world, when they're doing them, if you ever watch Top Gear, it's a TV show here in the UK. I think it exported, though. It was really well exported. They have a car and they will still find a con for the car. They'll be like, oh, like something as silly as like, the gear stick knob is just too smooth. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll say something. And I think that's really important that we're very honest and we're very open about things that perhaps we're not interested in or we're not liking. And for me, that's why when I work with brands, I'm very much about that. And I think that's what people, when I asked, I asked ChatGPT what it felt about my Instagram and my social media. One of the things that came up, you should try it yourself, is that brutally honest, very blunt, authoritative, and helpful and not gatekeeping, which absolutely made me feel amazing because those are the pillars in which I have always aspired my content and who I am as a photographer, educator, podcast host to be. So to know that the chat GPT were like, yeah, girl, you're doing good. That felt good to me. There were some things I needed to work on. For example, I do need to boost a little bit more on my engagement myself. The last couple of months, I haven't been as socially media interactive. I've been chatting a lot on social media with people. So I need to spend a bit more time on that. And that's something I knew I was sacking off on, mainly because I was working on some big projects and didn't have time. But usually I sit down for at least 5-10 minutes every day and go through and chat to people because I want to, because I love them. So yeah, that is something I've got to do more on. But that's good because I get to review that and I get to see that. Okay. So if we start constantly looking back at our analytics, forgetting the likes and the follows, and we look at the real numbers, okay, we can then start winning and knowing what content works. So this episode has finally made Instagram feel like a little bit more understandable to you, please share it. Next episode, we are going to do Facebook, which is a completely different psychological game, I'll be honest. So I'll see you next time on The Loud Lens. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the nice things. And I shall see you soon. Hear you soon? Be in your earballs soon. Earballs? Earballs? Your ear holes. Take care, my love. Bye.